What's going on, everybody? Time for another HomeBrew's brew review. I don't know what number we're on. I don't really care, but we're still deep into pumpkin beers. This is Adrian joining me again. He's going to be starting his own YouTube channel, so once he gets that started, there'll be a link down in the bottom somewhere so you can watch this guy's beer reviews too. He's got a good palate. If you want a little bit more backstory, watch the first video in this 3-part with him for right now with all these pumpkin beers. There will be a link down there as well for that. You know what? We're doing 3 of these beers tonight. So the beer we're going to drink next, which is this one right here, is a picture, if you will, from Bottle Logic. This is a bourbon pumpkin ale, according to their description. It's an ale brewed with pumpkins, cinnamon, nutmeg, ginger, clove, and aged in bourbon barrels. And it is 13.3% alcohol by volume. In my last video, I said, hey, I need him here to help me put this down. He brought these delicious beers. So, yeah, props to Adrian. Thank you, man. And he's going to help us put this down.
And that's 2016's release. 2017's just came out.
Okay.
But this is about a year old, so.
So he's been cellaring this for some time. And with these bigger beers, you always want to cellar them. Yeah. You don't want to jump right in with the high alcohol stuff because it always comes off as jet fuel. It's too hot to drink half the time.
Yeah, Bottle Logic actually recommends it on the bottle. They say you should probably cellar this one.
Right, because this is part of their stasis program, correct?
Stasis project. Yep.
Yeah.
Stasis project.
Yeah. And what am I doing pouring myself first? Fuck that. Guests get first pour always.
Oh, okay. See that?
I like the color on this way more than the last one.
Yeah, it's a little
more
golden.
Yeah.
That one's a lot murkier.
This has a nice
darker.
kind of like a ruby red color.
Oh yeah. That's gorgeous.
This is a gorgeous beer. All right, so this beer, the cool thing about Bottle Logic, if you guys have never been to Bottle Logic, they have a really cool theme going. It's all about innovation and like the golden age of sci-fi, and inventions and things like that. So they pay a lot of homage to Nikola Tesla, Thomas Edison, people like that. So really cool building and really cool like company mantra, if you will. Like everything they do, they put a lot of care into. And I really dig these bottles because
a lot of information.
And they do these die-cut vinyl labels so you can pull these off and use them as decals on whatever you want. But the cool thing is they actually give you a little story about this beer, and I'm just going to go ahead and read that to you. It says, you're traveling through another dimension, a dimension not only of sight and sound, but of taste. A journey into wondrous land whose boundaries are that of your imagination. That's the signpost up ahead, your next stop, the Pumpkin Zone in transmission. So they pay homage to Twilight Zone. They do cool things like that, and you can't hate the guys, and they make good beer. But if any of you guys from Bottle Logic are watching this, shame on you. Please bring back Polarity. I know it's getting cold weather now, but damn you.
It's a good beer.
Damn you. Hanamachi's good, but Polarity's better. So
did they release Hanamachi this year?
They did. I got bottles of it, and it was good, but it's no Polarity.
No.
It's
no Polarity. That's their best lager. All
right, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about this guy right here. They also have cellaring instructions on here in case you're a complete idiot and don't know how to cellar a beer. That's kind of nice that they do that because there's no mistaking that these beers are brewed to be cellared. And as I said, this is a 13.5, so not quite as high as the last one we did, but still plenty of fingers on the glass. The one thing that Adrian and I noticed in the pour is this has a much nicer color.
Yeah.
Wow. And this isn't a porter. Or at least they don't openly say it's a porter. They just say it's a pumpkin ale. And I mean, the color looks like a Marzen almost. It has that really kind of deep ruby red kind of, color to it. Very, very nice. Nice, like toffee caramel colored head. Very, very nice. And the aroma on this one actually is more grain sweet and pumpkin sweet than the last one. For sure.
More natural pumpkin, like how actual pumpkin.
Exactly.
Not to say that Avery was artificial, but this one,
Yeah. All right. The nose on this one isn't as robust as the other one. It's not as spice forward. The nose on this one's a little bit more closed down. And I think that's actually a better thing. So this beer, the nose is more closed down than the previous one, which I tend to like for pumpkin beers. I don't like to bury my nose in when I'm tasting it and, get that kick in the face of all the spices. I really want this beer to shine being a pumpkin beer. Now, pumpkin doesn't impart a lot of flavor, if you will. It's more of a body and sugars into the mash. So when you brew with pumpkin, it's hard to explain. It's a quantifiable thing. Like, it's pumpkin or yam because a lot of pumpkin beers are done with yam. It's quantifiable. Like, it's there, but when you taste the beer without it that has substitute sugars, it's really hard to tell them apart if they're done right, especially with all the spices covering it. And this beer, since it's not as spice forward on the nose, I'm betting we're going to get a lot more pumpkin in the taste. So the color is gorgeous. The aroma's nice. Let's go ahead and give this thing a taste, yeah?
Cheers.
Cheers, dude. Yep.
Yeah. Oh
Yep.
yeah.
No,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Damn.
That reminds me of pumpkin pie.
Yeah.
Not so much, but more really natural.
This
pumpkin.
actually reminds me of my mom's pumpkin pie.
Mm.
To a T. Like, the spices they use in this, I'm telling you, if I was able to look at the recipe, it's a dead ringer for the spice ratios for what she makes in her pies. Yeah, after your pies have chilled and they're in the fridge when you eat them cold, yeah, it is. The finish on this beer is so vanilla forward.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I get. I definitely get
It
that.
tastes like pumpkin pie with whipped cream.
Yeah. Yep.
It's this beer is money. And little aside about Bottle Logic, before they were opened, the brewery that we are opening entered a homebrew competition, and we got to meet the guys, and we ended up beating them in the barrel aged beer program category for the beer judging. And after that, they went ahead and did Dark Star, and Dark Star is a killer beer. And when they were impressed by our barrel aged beer, to see them succeed so well, it speaks volumes that they actually care about what they're doing.
Yeah.
This isn't just a money grab. You know, some breweries do a barrel aging program because they just want that, like, oh yeah, we barrel age, but they don't actually put the care forward into it. And this beer, in spades, you can tell that there's a lot of passion behind this project. All right, so we're going to warm this thing up, because if the taste is this good closed down, it can either go one of two ways. It's either going to get better or way worse. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to see what we got here. So what was your first impression, man? I know you liked it.
Yeah. Like I said, it's more organic. It feels more generic, like a not generic, stupid. It's more organic. It actually tastes like pumpkin to me. Yeah, not artificial. I think I often find with the pumpkin beers, especially like I said, so many get released at this time, they all kind of start tasting really similar.
Yeah.
I think this still took the pumpkin as a recipe, but really went a different route with it. Really introduced something different. I mean, I dig it. Like it's different. It's not your average pumpkin beer, but yet it's still a pumpkin beer.
Yeah, I agree. It's it's no pump kick or anything like that. That's a standard release beer.
Yes.
All the beers we're drinking tonight for this 3-part series, they're all going to be the barrel aged beers. So they're going to be something a little bit more special than your standard release stuff that you get. I know this time of year, most of you are running to your local Bevmo or your local bottle shop and picking up Shipyard.
Yeah.
That's like the common one that everybody
Sammy's,
gets, or
Sam
Sam Adams Oktoberfest. The Rogue Pumpkin Patch Ale is my favorite. It's from Rogue Farms. If those of you who maybe turn your nose up at Rogue, they
People
do
hate
some
Rogue.
stuff real big, dude. A lot of people hate it. A lot of you, us beer connoisseurs, we seem to absolutely hate them. Now, the only thing I can fault Rogue on, Pac-Man yeast. Every beer seems to use it, and
they
it all
use
kind of blends together. But for some beers, it's like the spark that ignites the flame. And the pumpkin, for me, the Pumpkin Patch Ale is one of those beers for me.
Yeah.
Where it's just, everything is done so well. And with Rogue Farms, they grow all of their ingredients, so it's kind of a farm-to-table kind of deal. And their pumpkin ale is just, their Pumpkin Patch Ale is just out of this world for me. It's very good. If you want a pumpkin beer without all the BS and, adjuncts like you get in some of the big guys beers, go for that one.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
All right, so now that these have sat for a minute and they're warmed up, let's go ahead and give it a taste number 2. Yeah?
Yeah.
All right, bud. Cheers. Straight away, the nose is far more spice. Yeah, far more spice. Ooh.
So even like
Dude, this smells like my pumpkin pie.
But again, I said from the get-go,
Yeah.
this is a dead ringer for your pumpkin pie. And the reason I was making that comment about this being a dead ringer for my mom's pumpkin pie, we made a pumpkin beer, and we served it. Actually, let me backtrack a little bit. We made a pumpkin beer, and we spiced it with her spice that she uses when she does her pumpkin pie. Upon first taste, way too spice forward. So much so that we were just like, forget this. We left it in kegs, left it carbonated, stuck it in cold storage, and just let it do its thing for, I think it was like 18 months. It was over a year.
did I have that? That's when I met you. No.
Yeah, you had
I've
it.
had that.
Yeah,
That's the last time you. Yeah, when I started hanging
It was
out
two
with you.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
It was about when we had the last batch. Yeah. So that beer, after we let it cellar, we took it to Ren Fair and we did a brewing demonstration. And we're doing free tastings. We weren't taking any money for anything. So it's all on the up and up. But we're doing free tastings if anyone wanted to come by and see maybe what you can brew at home. At that time, we brought this beer. We're like, we just need to get rid of the keg. Right? It's too sweet. It's not to my tasting. But lo and behold, that time conditioning, people went absolutely bananas for it. And it had mellowed all the spices out and worked into this amalgamation of just perfect balance of spice and pumpkin and everything. It was amazing. And that's what this beer's got. This beer has that through and through. I mean, I can't think of anything bad to say about this beer. I mean, the mouthfeel's on point, the aroma's on point, the flavor's on point, the finish is on point, the body's on point. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Bottle Logic. I love their beers, and this may be kind of some of you are going to cringe a little bit at this, but I can't stand going to their tasting room when it's crowded. That place gets so crowded, and I know they're expanding and they're doing everything they can to fix this, but man, if you just want to go in for a place for a beer, you just want to sit down and have a beer at a brewery, and you pull up to that parking lot, and you're like, dude, this place is packed, they're going to lose out on a little bit of customer base. But they are doing things to fix this, to make it a little easier for you. These beers now, for their program, you can buy them on brown paper tickets and just go pick them up at your leisure. Yeah. So, I mean, they're really doing the right things to fix it. And I have nothing bad to say about any beer they've ever made, maybe except Tattered Prince. Tattered Prince, to me, is not a true Saison.
Okay. I see why you fault
It's more of like a New World West Coast Saison.
Yeah, you're right. You hit the hammer on the head.
Yeah, it's too heavy on the body. Yeah. It's a little bit too spicy from the yeast and from the hop choices.
No, I agree with you. It's not a bad beer, though.
No, it's not a bad beer.
It's a good beer, but you're right.
But that's a beer that's near and dear to my heart. I mean, he's had my Saison that I make, and I mean, I did a lot of homework doing that. So, Bottle Logic, picture, if you will, score, scale of 1 to 10.
So, like, pumpkin beer 10. Like, oh man,
I
almost want to give it a perfect score as overall beer. It's
pumpkin beer 10 for me too. I can't fault this thing.
Yeah, I can't find a flaw. So if I can't find a flaw in it, I have to give it a 10.
All right, so some beers, there's always something that you want to take note of that aren't really up to snuff. There's just flavor profiles. It's too strong of this character or too lacking in this, and I don't think this beer's got any of that going on.
I can't fault it at all. Like, it's.
If I got to give this thing a numerical score, 1 to 10, pumpkin beer 10.
10.
Overall beer across all beer styles, 9.5.
Okay.
Because there are beers I like more than this for
That's
different styles, but 9.5 amongst every beer style.
Yeah, but as far as pumpkin beers, it's one of the best ones I've had.
I agree. I agree. All right, that's going to do it. We're going to go ahead and finish these bad boys. I'm Chris. This is Adrian. We'll see you guys later. Thanks for the continued support. Be sure to check out his channel when he gets it up and running. Yeah. As always, see you guys later. Have a good night.